Certain things in life, we did not have a choice. We did not choose the family that we were born in. We did not choose the body that we were born in. If you were born woman or a man, if you're born with a privileged body, a tall person, strong person, of an attractive appearance, or if you were born in a certain part of a country or in that or this country, you do not choose certain things that you receive in the moment of your arrival on this earth. These were already chosen for you. And it's like a card game. When the cards are given, the cards that you have in your hands are the ones you have to play. Like this is our lives. However, this does not mean that for the rest of our lives, the moments that we reach the age of reasoning, the age that we can think and to make our own choices, that we cannot make, let's say, out of a lemon, a lemonade. We have the power of the choice. And many people, unfortunately, underestimate, even though they know it. If I tell you that the human being has the free will, well, so-called free will, because if you are literal about it, sometimes they don't have choice, as I just said. But usually, even with the things that you didn't choose, you have the choice on what you do about them. You can do, for instance, to spend the rest of your life lamenting and victimizing yourself because you didn't have a mother, a father, because you suffered this or that in your childhood, because you were born in that place, you didn't have an opportunity. You can spend the rest of your life complaining. Or you can take the same story, the same past of yours, and say, I would do it differently. I am strong because I survived all of this. I've been through all of that back then, but now I'm strong. I'm a survival. I'm a winner. I can do all things. This is a choice you make. Unfortunately, many people, even though they know that they have the power of choice, they either think that they cannot do anything about it, that they stuck in their way of being, or the only choice that they have is to be bitter about it, is to make out of themselves a victim or to blame others. So are two ways of living your life. We have, for example, a magnificent story in the Bible that illustrates that. The Lord Jesus told us the parable of the prodigal son. And you might know the parable that is described in Luke chapter 15, but I'm only going to focus on one part of the parable, when the prodigal son left the father's house and killed his father before time, because he wanted the inheritance before the father was dead. He said, Father, I want the inheritance. Please give me now. I don't want this life stuck in the house. I don't want this life you're giving to me. I want to live my own life. I want to do what I think is best. I want the money of my inheritance. So for him, the father was already dead. He took the money of the inheritance. He went out throughout the world, enjoyed it, spent it all, wasted it all. That's why the word prodigal means the wasteful one. He was the prodigal son because he was a wasteful son, wasting the money, the opportunities that his father gave him. He went through the world enjoying, but in reality he was wasting it all, throwing everything away, all that he had. When he had nothing, nothing else, humiliated, wanted to eat the pig's food without money, so the holy text says. But when he came to himself, which means looking at his life, he had that moment of reality, that he looked at himself on the mirror, he came to himself, he said, he thought, he reasoned. See the power of reasoning. How many of my father's hired servants have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? So he used the logic, the intelligence. Wait, this does not make sense. And there are people who don't stop to think, to look at themselves and say, look at the life I am living. Look how I have been wasting opportunities. Maybe you are a wasteful person in life because you wasted the parents you had, either good or bad. You had a father, a mother, maybe, and you mistreated them, you despised them, you abandoned them. For you, they could have died because you killed them in life. You killed them when they were alive. In your heart, they are dead for you. So you wasted the parents you have. Maybe you have been wasting the help that many people gave you, the help that people offered you, the mercy, the forgiveness that God has offered to you so many times. You should have been dead. There are people here listening to me that they should not be alive, but God saved them, has been protecting you, and you don't recognize this. You don't recognize the God who protected you, saved you. So you don't come to your senses and think, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? This is the moment that changed the prodigal son's life. What am I doing with my life? What am I doing here? So when he came to his senses and thought about these words, he didn't stop there. He didn't stop there. He said, I will arise and go to my father. What magnificent words. I will rise and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Humbleness, recognition of the mistake, make me like one of your highest servants. And he arose and came to his father. A magnificent story. You who haven't read yet, even though you might have read, read it again. That in Luke chapter 15, because this will renew your faith and your understanding. But the main point here is the prodigal son, he used the power of choice. He could arise, turn around, humble himself, and go back to the house of his father and speak to him. And say, my father, I know I don't deserve not even to be called your son, but if you can accept me as one of your higher servants and do something for me to do, a place for me to live and what to eat, please, I beg you. And the father obviously did way more than that. But pay attention to the power of choice. The young man was not in the pride, because worse than commit a mistake is the pride that keeps you in the mistake. He did not keep himself in the pride of his mistake. I will not go back there, because if I go back, they're gonna say this and that. Now is where I'm gonna stay here. No, he did not keep digging the grave. As many people they do, they are at the bottom of the pit and they keep on digging. There's a way for me to go a little bit deeper. If I dig, I'll go deeper. Stop digging the bottom of the pit. Wake up for life. You're not tied up to the mistakes you made back there. You can change now. You're not a rock. You're not a stone. You have a brain. You have a head. God gave you a brain for you to think. You have legs to walk the right path. The same feet that took you to the wrong path, they can take you to the right one. The only thing needed is for you to be humble and recognize it. Stop being proud and do what must be done. Ask forgiveness to who you have to ask. Say sorry. Go back to where you should have never left. Do what you must do. Recognize your mistake. Ask for a change in God. Turn the page about your past. You don't need to perpetuate the mistakes of the past. In the present and future, God gives you this power, the power of change. This choice is yours, was not decided by anybody else. Nobody made this choice for you. You are the one who chooses. So, what are you going to do with this power that God gave you? The Father is waiting. And you? Will you go to the Father, or you will remain with the pigs?
Did you like this? Would you like to hear it again? Listen to it as many times as you need until this content becomes part of you. Don't forget to leave your like, comment, and share. See you next time.